A 68-year-old mother received a call from her only son.
Mom, I sold the ranch land and Dad's truck. I'm heading to Europe.
The call ended. He thought he'd left her with nothing, but his mother, Eleanor, knew a secret truth that would change everything. Which country are you watching from? Comment below. Sparkling heart if you enjoy the video. Don't forget to like. Backhand index pointing down. Let's start the story. Drop your comment now. Eleanor Brooks sat in the creaky wooden chair on the porch of her Montana ranch house, the vast expanse of the Bitterroot Valley stretching out before her like a faded painting. At 68, her hands were calloused from decades of ranch work, mending fences, birthing calves, and battling the relentless Montana winters. The autumn wind whipped through the golden aspens, carrying the scent of pine and impending frost. It was October, and the ranch was alive with the rustle of leaves and the distant lowing of cattle preparing for the long cold ahead. Her phone rang, shattering the quiet. It was Travis, her only son, his voice clipped and distant over the line. "Mom, I'm heading to Europe tomorrow with Sophia. I sold the East pasture and Dad's old truck. We needed the cash for our startup pivot. Bye." The line went dead. Eleanor stared at the phone, her heart sinking like a stone in the Clark Fork River that bordered their land. 43 years she'd poured into raising Travis, sacrificing her dreams for his. After Caleb's sudden death from a heart attack 6 months ago, right there at the breakfast table, coffee still steaming, she thought Travis had stepped up. He'd helped with the funeral, fixed the barn roof during a brutal summer storm, and even suggested she see the doctor in Hamilton for her aching joints. "Mom, you gotta take care of yourself now," he'd said with what she mistook for concern. The East pasture was their lifeline, 200 acres of prime grazing land where Caleb had taught Travis to ride horses as a boy. Flashbacks flooded her. Young Travis, freckled and laughing, galloping across the meadow under an endless blue sky, Caleb shouting encouragement. "That's my boy, hold the reins steady." Those memories were now tainted, sold off like cheap hay. And the truck, Caleb's battered Ford F-150, polished every Sunday after church, its cab still holding the faint aroma of his pipe tobacco. It was her last tangible link to him. She took a deep breath, the crisp air filling her lungs, and felt a strange calm settle over her. The doctor in Hamilton had just confirmed she was healthy for her age, despite the grief weighing on her like a snow-laden branch. As she walked back inside, the ranch house creaked underfoot, timber floors worn from years of muddy boots. The kitchen smelled of fresh-baked bread, a habit from her days cooking for Caleb and Travis. But now, alone, she remembered something Caleb had given her 3 days before his death, a sealed envelope tucked in her dresser. "Eleanor, keep this safe. Open it if I'm gone when you're ready." Grief had buried it in her mind. That evening, as the sun dipped behind the Sapphire Mountains, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, she retrieved it. Her hands trembled slightly, arthritic from years of ranch chores like baling hay in sweltering summers or shoveling snow in blizzards that blanketed the valley in white silence. Inside were deeds, bank statements, and a letter in Caleb's steady hand. "My dearest Eleanor, if you're reading this, I'm watching from above. I invested our savings wisely, ranches, stocks, even a silent partnership in the local timber mill. We're wealthier than you knew. I kept it secret to protect you and Travis from greed. Love, Caleb." Tears welled as she pored over the documents. They own not just their 500-acre ranch, but 3 more properties: a cabin in the Rockies, farmland near Missoula, and shares in a booming agribusiness. Bank accounts showed millions, far more than their modest life suggested. Caleb, a simple rancher, had been a shrewd investor, turning every scrimped dollar into security. Eleanor's mind raced with emotions. gratitude for Caleb's foresight, anger at Travis's betrayal. Subtly, a plan formed. She wouldn't confront him yet. Let him chase his dreams in Europe, thinking he'd left her destitute. Meanwhile, she'd reclaim what was hers, teaching him the value of family amid Montana's unforgiving beauty. That night, as coyotes howled in the distance and stars pierced the clear sky, Alina slept fitfully, dreaming of Caleb mending fences in a spring thaw, mud clinging to his boots. Winter's first snow dusted the ranch the next morning, transforming the valley into a pristine wonderland. Alina rose at dawn, as always, to feed the horses in the barn. The air was sharp, her breath visible as she hauled hay bales, her back protesting the cold. Ranch life demanded routine, checking water troughs frozen overnight, repairing wind-damaged gates, and monitoring the herd against predators lurking in the forested hills. Travis's call replayed in her mind, fueling a quiet rage. How had her boy become so callous? Flashback to his childhood. A sunny summer day, 10-year-old Travis helping Caleb brand calves, his small hands steady under his father's guidance. "Family sticks together, son," Caleb had said, the scent of singed hair mixing with wildflowers blooming across the pastures. Alina had watched from the garden, weeding rows of vegetables that sustained them through harsh winters. But Travis had changed after leaving for college in California. Silicon Valley lured him with promises of tech glory. He'd built a startup, some app for virtual farming simulations, pouring in investments, including money borrowed from the ranch. Sophia, his ambitious girlfriend, pushed him harder, dreaming of European ventures. Alina called her neighbor, Martha Jenkins, whose ranch adjoined theirs. Martha, a sturdy woman in her 70s, answered amid the clatter of feeding chickens. Alina heard Travis sold the east pasture. "You okay?" Subplot unfolding. Martha revealed the buyer was a developer eyeing subdivisions, threatening the valley's rural charm. "Community meeting in Hamilton tomorrow to fight it," she said. Alina nodded, her voice steady despite inner turmoil. "I'll be there." Internally, Alina reflected. Caleb had always said, "The land ain't just dirt, it's our legacy." She felt betrayed not just by Travis, but by time itself. Emotions churned, grief for Caleb, loneliness in the vast landscape where eagles soared over snow-capped peaks. That afternoon, she drove Caleb's old tractor, still operational despite Travis's sale of the truck, to check fences. The engine rumbled through the quiet valley, elk grazing in the distance. A flashback hit. Their wedding day, 45 years ago, on this very land under a blooming lilac bush, Caleb promising eternal love amid buzzing bees and mountain breezes. By evening, as a blizzard brewed, Alina contacted a lawyer in Missoula, Mr. Harlan. "I need to nullify that sale quietly," she said. Harlan confirmed the document's legitimacy. "You're a wealthy woman, Mrs. Brooks. We can reclaim it all." Dialogue with herself in the mirror. "Travis, you think you've left me with nothing? This ranch has secrets deeper than these mountains." Her reflection showed a resilient woman, lines etched from seasons of joy and hardship. As snow fell heavily, blanketing the ranch in silence, Alina planned her next steps, the fire crackling in the hearth warming her resolve. Spring thawed the valley, rivers swelling with meltwater from the bitterroots. Alina mucked stalls in the barn, the earthy scent of manure mixing with fresh grass sprouting in the pastures. Ranch chores intensified, planting feed crops, vaccinating calves, and repairing irrigation ditches flooded by runoff. Travis's life in Silicon Valley flashed in her mind, detailed from his rare calls. He'd lived in a sleek San Francisco apartment overlooking the bay, surrounded by coders and venture capitalists. His startup, Agri-Tech VR, promised virtual ranch experiences for urbanites, raising millions in funding. But it failed spectacularly. Buggy software, investor pullouts after a data breach, leaving Travis bankrupt and desperate. Sophia convinced him to sell ranch assets for a European reset, a vague business in agritourism. A phone call from Travis interrupted her thoughts. "Mom, we transferred your share, 30% to your account. It's not much, but it'll tide you over." His voice feigned kindness. Elinor's internal conflict. Anger boiled, but maternal love lingered. "Your share of my life," she thought, but said calmly, "Safe travels, son." Subplot: at the community barn dance in Hamilton, amid fiddle music and stomping boots, neighbors gossiped about the developer. Elinor danced with old friend Ben, a widower rancher. "Travis done you wrong," he said. Dialogue: "He'll learn, Ben. Montana teaches hard lessons." Flashback: teenage Travis rebelling, sneaking off to rodeos, Caleb grounding him with extra chores. "Life ain't easy, boy. Ranching builds character." Elinor visited the reclaimed East Pasture, wildflowers blooming under azure skis. Emotions swelled, pride in Caleb's legacy, sorrow for Travis's greed. She hired a manager discreetly to handle distant properties, her wealth growing silently. Tension built as Travis's European updates ceased, rumors of his venture failing reaching her via mutual friends. Summer heat baked the ranch, dust rising from horse hooves as Elinor rode the trails, checking for fire risks in the dry forests. Daily life: harvesting hay, branding new calves, and hosting a neighborhood barbecue where tensions over land development simmered. Travis returned broke, Sophia gone with another investor. He arrived unannounced, suitcases in hand, looking gaunt against the rugged landscape. "Mom, I need a place to stay. Europe was a scam." Dialogue revealed emotions. "You sold our heritage." Elinor cried inwardly but let him in, maintaining her facade of poverty. Subplot: ranch problem, a drought-strained water supplies forcing cooperation with neighbors. Flashback: Caleb and young Travis fishing in the river, teaching patience. Travis's character development, reflections on his failures, internal guilt surfacing in quiet moments watching sunsets over the mountains. Elinor orchestrated subtle hardships, simple meals, shared chores, letting him feel abandonment sting. Autumn leaves turned fiery red, winds howling through canyons. Elinor and Travis worked side by side, fixing barns, herding cattle, building tension through dialogues. "Why'd you do it, son?" "I thought I was building something bigger." Emotions raw, Travis's regret, Elinor's quiet anger. Subplot: community event, a rodeo fundraiser where Travis volunteers, interacting with skeptical neighbors. Flashback: Caleb's deathbed words, Travis's childhood mischief. Travis hit rock bottom, taking a menial job in town, reflecting on silicon illusions versus ranch realities. Winter snows returned, isolating the ranch. Elinor revealed partial wealth via a safety deposit box, jewels worth $200,000, testing Travis. Dialogue: sell them to pay debts. Think carefully, son. Subplot: neighbor crisis. A storm damages fences, community unites. Travis's development. Humility grows, internal monologues on lost values. Climax builds as Elinor prepares full revelation. Spring floods raged. At the lawyers, Elinor unveiled the full fortune. Shock confrontation: why let me suffer? To teach you true wealth, family, effort. Emotional dialogues resolve conflicts. Travis's redemption begins. Subplot: ranch saved from developer via Elinor's influence. Flashback, family holidays on the ranch. Summer flourished. Travis stays, contributing to ranch and community foundation for struggling families. Character arcs complete. Alina's forgiveness, Travis's maturity. Final reflections. Amid Montana's timeless beauty, they rebuild bonds stronger than before.